Hello legal hustlers. In this chapter of our logic series, we'll be exploring the fundamentals of propositions, the building blocks of logical thinking. Traditional classification of proposition into categorical and conditional. In traditional logic, propositions are classified into two broad categories, categorical and conditional. Categorical propositions are statements that assert something about a subject in a particular way. They are called categorical because they relate two categories, the subject and predicate. For example, all humans are mortal, and some mammals are carnivorous, are categorical propositions. Categorical propositions can be further classified into four types based on their form, which are called the standard form of categorical propositions. The four types are type A, all S is P, type E, no S is P, type 1, some S is P, type O, some S is not P. Conditional propositions, on the other hand, are statements that assert a relationship between two propositions. They typically take the form of an if-then statement. For example, if it rains, then the ground will be wet, is a conditional proposition. Conditional propositions can also be classified into two types. 1. Hypothetical proposition, if A, then B. 2. Disjunctive proposition, either A or B. It is worth noting that some philosophers and logicians may use slightly different classification systems for propositions, but the categorical and conditional distinction is a widely accepted and common one. Four-fold classification. The traditional categorical and conditional classification of propositions, there is also a four-fold classification that is often used in modern logic. This classification divides propositions into four types based on their form and the relationships between their components. The four types are 1. A proposition. Propositions are affirmative categorical propositions that assert that all members of a subject class are also members of a predicate class. For example, all birds are animals, is an A proposition. 2. E proposition. E-propositions are negative categorical propositions that assert that no members of a subject class are members of a predicate class. For example, no reptiles are mammals, is an E-proposition. 3. I-proposition. I-propositions are affirmative categorical propositions that assert that at least one member of a subject class is a member of a predicate class. For example, some dogs are friendly, is an I-proposition. 4. O-proposition. O-propositions are negative categorical propositions that assert that at least one member of a subject class is not a member of a predicate class. For example, some fruits are not sweet, is an O-proposition. The four-fold classification is useful for identifying the logical form of propositions and for constructing valid arguments. It can also be used to identify the mood and figure of syllogisms, which are arguments consisting of three propositions that together establish a conclusion. Reduction of sentences to their logical forms. The reduction of sentences to their logical forms is a fundamental technique used in formal logic and analytical philosophy. It involves translating natural language statements into symbolic logic, which consists of a set of logical symbols and notation that represents the underlying logical structure of the statement. The process of reduction involves analyzing the sentence's meaning and breaking it down into its constituent parts, such as propositions, logical connectives, and quantifiers. This process allows for precise analysis and reasoning about the statement's truth and validity. Logical forms provide a way to evaluate arguments and assess the soundness of reasoning, helping to avoid fallacies and other errors in reasoning. Distribution of terms in A, E, I, O propositions. Important table. Take a screenshot of it and learn it very thoroughly. Thank you for watching. We're thrilled to have you here and hope that you find our content informative, engaging, and entertaining. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to join us for further updates.